morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are joining us. I want to welcome you to your fall 2022 grad student orientation. This is the second session we are hosting. Thank you for being here. I do hear some activity. If you can just make sure you're muted, that would be appreciated. Thank you. So again, thank you for being here. My name is Joanne Hardy. I have been working for the David R. Cheriton School of Computer Science for 6 years now. You will likely see me at any of the school events that you participate in during your time with us. We acknowledge that you may have questions along the way and appreciate that. I ask that you please take note of them and ask them at the end of the general sessions when prompted or at your panel session following the general sessions. We do have a large group joining today, so I ask that you make sure that you're muted and are aware of your video status throughout this session. If you would like to join muted, but with your video on, we would also be happy to see you. Some general information. This presentation is being recorded. The recording will be available after the webinar. I'm still working on this and we'll send you the link with some access for both sessions 1 and 2 shortly. Any follow-ups or confidential questions can be sent to the grad office email addresses listed below. So there's a general CS grad inquiries email. Denise Shantz is the manager and assisting currently with some of the coursework. Nadine Zinger will be your master's thesis panel discussion leader for today, and Paula Roser will be your PhD. Thank you to our presenters. Today we have Associate Professor and Director of Graduate Studies, Bernard Wong. We have CS Advocates, Naomi Nishimura. I hope I said that right. And Dan Brown, who unfortunately was unable to attend today, but you may get a chance to see or interact with him at some point. CSCF, Lori Paniak. We have the DC Library representative, Rebecca Hutchison here, and CSGSA, Norin, and the grad office manager, Denise Shantz, will also be presenting today. Shortly after following this, you will have 2 different breakout sessions with either Denise Shantz and Nadine Zinger for the coursework and master's thesis program, or Paula Roser for the PhD program. Then you have a bit of a break for a little bit, and you will get into a TA session held with Gang Liu and Olga Zorin, who will be helping you with some general TA information and marking training. So lastly, I would like to thank you for choosing the University of Waterloo School of Computer Science for your graduate studies. I look forward to seeing you on campus. I would like to introduce our first speaker, the Director of Graduate Studies, Bernard Wong. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy.
Great, thank you. I just want to give a quick welcome. So yeah, it's my great pleasure to welcome everybody to the second part of our fall orientation. First, I want to share my congratulations to all of you for starting your graduate studies here at Waterloo. You have joined the largest computer science program in Canada, and in my opinion, one of the best in the world. For those who are not familiar with Waterloo CS, you will be entering a lively, challenging, diverse, and warm community during your time here. I encourage you to explore and embrace the opportunities that are presented to you. You will get to know classmates from around the world and to forge new friendships and broaden your perspectives. It is critically important that your voice is included in our school because your perspective will make our community stronger. So I encourage all of you to find ways to engage with the school and to get involved. At Waterloo CS, you'll have a chance to learn from and work with world-class faculty members who are committed to supporting your growth and your curiosity. I can't wait to see how you grow from working with them and how the school evolves with you here. I also look forward to the fresh ideas and energy that you bring to our school. We're deeply committed to helping you succeed, and the Office of Graduate Studies and the Graduate Advocates are dedicated to support your transition. Please reach out to them and make the most of your time here. I speak for the entire faculty, staff, and student community in saying that we're so happy that you decided to join us. So I wish you the very best as you start your graduate studies at Waterloo CS. Welcome again and enjoy the rest of your orientation today. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernard. We appreciate that. Welcome, warm welcome, and look forward to, I'm sure some of them look forward to seeing you on campus as well. With that said, our next presenter is going to be Naomi. She is one of our CS advocates, and we'll give you a little bit of information on what they do. Thank you.
Thank you. So as Joanne mentioned, I'm actually speaking both for myself and Dan Brown. There are 2 graduate advocates, so you get to choose between the 2 of us and see who you'd like to talk to. There's also a web page that gives our contact information and describes the role in more detail. So I'll be brief here just to give you a brief overview. Basically, we're here as people to contact if there's some situation that occurs and you don't feel comfortable talking to the person you would normally talk to. Usually your supervisor, but maybe somebody in charge of something. So what can we do? We're here to serve as a sounding board. So you just can run something by us. All of our conversations are confidential. And so you can say, well, this happened and does it seem right? What do you think of this? What can I do? We can let you know what resources are available. We can, if you want, we can ask questions for you to official people without revealing who you are, if you want to keep our identity secret. And unfortunately, we can't make anybody do anything. We don't have any power to make things happen, but we can find things out and to serve as your advocate, hence the name. So typical kinds of questions people come to us are things like, how do I switch supervisors? That's maybe something you don't want to discuss with your supervisor right off. Or I'm in this uncomfortable situation. What are my options? Or even a very common question I get is, am I the only one who feels this way? Is this a normal way to feel at this point in the program? So those are the sort of things that we're happy to discuss with you. And I think that's all I'll say here. Just want to welcome you again. I hope you don't need to see me for this reason, but maybe for other reasons. And hope you have a wonderful time in your program here. Thanks very much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Naomi. We appreciate the comfort level you provide for these students and for making, open door policy as as someone to speak to and turn to should they have questions or concerns. With that said, does anyone have any questions? I'm not sure if Naomi dropped off. Does anyone have any questions or concerns for Naomi? If you feel comfortable, you're welcome to unmute yourself and turn your video on and talk to Naomi yourself, or you can drop a quick question in the chat and I'm happy to relay that over to her as well. We'll give you a minute or so just in case there are any questions that come up. Everyone's good. I expected that. That was very straightforward. Thank you so much again, Naomi. I appreciate it. Take care. Have a great day. So our next presenter is going to be Lori Paniak. Lori is with the CSCF department, and he's going to explain his role and what their role is for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. I'll start by putting a link in the chat so everyone can have a link to what the blizzard of slides I shall present. I am the manager of the Research and Special Projects Group in Computer Science Computing Facility. Since this is an IT shop, we use a lot of acronyms. So this slide deck will be full of acronyms. So CSCF, Computer Science Computing Facility, it's an organization I'm going to tell you about. There's a QR code for this talk. I'm Lori Paniak. Research and Special Projects, you'll hear RSG bandied about. So that's us. So I'm here to tell you about what we do. This is me, it's where I am, how to get a hold of me, places to find these slides. CSCF is essentially the IT support organization for the Chariton School of Computer Science. And as such, we get to do IT support for researchers and faculty and teaching and general administration. There are 3 groups in CSCF. There's the infrastructure group, which provides things like login servers. There'll be linux.cs that you might log into with your CS General account. All kinds of things there, managed by Dave Galley. You can thank Dave for your nice laptops, which we'll talk about in a moment. Teaching administration, so the group that supports essentially undergrad teaching, and you'll interact with them when it comes, if you're TAing and working on teaching in the linux.student.cs environment. So you probably have accounts there if you're some kind of TA or instructor. ONFEs is a manager there. And then at the bottom here, research special projects, that's us. I am the manager these days. We have a team, 3 people at the moment. Tom, Harsh, and Nathan. We're currently hiring, so this will change. Let's see, what do you need to know about this? Essentially, RSG, we support researchers, we support grad students. We are your one-stop shop for IT support. If you have any kind of IT question, you should be talking to us. I think that's probably the bottom line. So as a grad student or as a researcher, there are plenty of resources available. We'll talk about those in a moment. But if there's one takeaway that I want to get you from all these slides, is RSG is the place to go. There's also a help desk. We'll talk about that. But RSG is the place to go if you have any IT need. So workstations. Historically, the school, Chariton School, has been very, very generous in providing hardware for incoming grad students. Often, historically, has been workstations. Now we're into the laptop business with the pandemic era, work from home, things like that. You will be getting an email today, a little bit of a finger crossing there. Should have it out today. An email from our RT system, which is our bug tracker. It's essentially a front end for collecting communications that we keep track of for managing support tickets. You will be getting an email from RT asking you to choose between a really nice set of hardware that you will be using, yours to use during your graduate program. So at the moment, we have primarily new hardware is a PC laptop, so that's Lenovo P15S, I believe. We have MacBook Airs, very popular, smaller, lighter. Actually, one aspect here, the laptops have NVIDIA GPUs. I should mention that. So they're excellent for development of CUDA code and other sort of GPU accelerated softwares. Not exactly good for straight out computation, but certainly good for development. We have desktop systems, Intel NUCs, which we configure and can deploy. Your supervisor might choose to buy a system. That happens in specialized cases. Generally, our hardware is very good, that we provide stock, and I would expect that your needs can be fulfilled with either a PC laptop or a MacBook Air. Course Masters, so that's for the research side. Course Masters, we have surplus systems, great workstations. We're happy to roll those out for you. I'm not sure if there are locations for you to work on campus these days. Maybe we hear more about that. There's a link on this slide for the options for different workstations. I'll leave people to go look at that. So you will be getting an email. Your supervisor will be on the email as well. This RT ticket, and between the two of you can decide on a choice of systems. Systems are ready to go. We should be able to have them in your hands with the help of our handy co-ops in the next couple of days if you're around on campus. So be on the lookout for that. So research support, the R and S and RSG, or maybe special projects. There are many S's. We have a model for basically supporting researchers, which has proven to be quite successful over the past almost 20 years. is a chargeback system that we use. So supervisors and their research programs or their research groups support us, RSG, and we support them. We provide points of contact. So someone like me or Tom or Harsh, and someone who will replace me in the not too distant future will be a point of contact with your research group. So this is the person that you're on a cluster, you're having trouble with software, you're having trouble with anything really IT related, and even beyond that, go to your point of contact, send them a note, come to our office. We're always happy to see you. I mean, this is what we do. This is why we're here. Never be bashful to send us a note any time of day or night. I like nothing better than keeping grad students working all hours and on the weekend. So if you have a problem, I'll be. You might not be surprised if I respond at a late hour to keep you going. We do all kinds of IT, from Windows through Mac, through Linux systems, microcontrollers up through. My specialty is high performance clusters. If you need an 8-socket system with 12 terabytes of RAM, I know where you can find that. There's plenty of great hardware around. Your supervisors are very good at getting grant money, and research and special projects is very good at helping them spend it. And we manage procurement of those systems, administration of those systems, get them in the rack, get your accounts on them, all that kind of thing. So we are here to help, from the very simple things of email up through you need special hardware for some research project. And we're always around to talk to your supervisors and you about those needs and what needs to be done. We have plenty of hardware around, workstations, monitors, mice, keyboards. That's a good segue into the help desk. So we have a help desk, DC 2608. So as you get used to navigating the Davis Center, you can find the help desk. Same hall that I'm in. Able to help out with loans of simple little items. I mean, we have mountains of cables, display adapters, mice. Actually, setting passwords is kind of deprecated now. That's all online, and we have 2-factor for that. Occasionally we have surplus monitors that we have on the shelves, holding down the shelves. We're happy for it to hold down the shelf in your office rather than hold down the shelf in our storage room. So don't be afraid to ask for hardware. Help desk, we have a link for that here. Compute resources. So the school maintains, Dave Golly's group maintains general login systems and compute systems, cloud systems for the school. We have linux.cs.ca, which is a pool of currently 4 machines, Ubuntu 2004. These are rather substantial AMD and Intel systems with 0.5 terabyte of RAM, 64 cores. I think the newer ones have 2 64-core AMD CPUs, so plenty of compute. Linux.cs, even bigger. It's like about a dozen machines at the moment. Support undergrad TA work. So Linux.cs you can actually use for your research purposes. Linux.student.cs is reserved for undergrad teaching. You'll have access to that as a TA. And we have a Windows login servers, terminal services systems. If you need to get at machines via Windows machines remotely. We have 2-factor authentication on all these. There's fairly straightforward methods for that. I didn't include a link. I probably should have. I'll fix that up in the slides. But basically, if you have an SSH key, you set your password, and links for password updates. Basically, cs.uarthy.ca/password. You can set your passwords there. File storage, something near and dear to my heart. We have a self-distributed cluster with 2 petabytes of raw storage in it, which means there's no shortage of storage for people in the school, including grad students. Right now, the budget is 500 gigabytes per student. If you need more, send your point of contact an email. We can organize that. It's available in a couple different ways. There's straight mounts in Linux.cs. There's a Samba gateway of all that data. There's NFS gateway of all that data. We have S3 buckets for those who are familiar with Amazon speak, basically object storage. I find that's a great way to store lots of data and share it with people. There are regular backups of all this data, so no fear of data disappearing. Nextcloud, which I'm using right now, the link that I put in, it's called vault.cs. Lots of different ways to access that. So this is a Dropbox. This is some kind of web interface GUI. There are clients for Windows and Linux and Apple. So you have it on your desktop. You can sync your desktop files. It's a recommended way to keep everything in sync across all your systems. Sort of a backup system per se. I mean, it'll store deleted files almost practically forever, given the storage capacity we have. So again, 500 gigabytes per grad student. Ask us and we can up your quota there. Lots of clients and documentation. Our Linux.cs system allows you to build your own website. So public twiddle, public HTML, you'll see a directory in your Linux.cs home directory. Do basic setup of a web page there. Also, I've been using S3 buckets for websites if you need to have something with a little more storage. That's plenty of options for you to communicate yourself around the world. We have. If you need to move data, give your point of contact a call. Email, user ID, you should have everyone's in this meeting, so you have email set up with Office 365. There are ways to redirect that. There are friendlies, whatiam.uwaterloo.ca, HTTPS is a place to go to manage that. Printing, we have all kinds of printing. I'll leave the links there. People not being on campus might not be that important. High performance computing, which is near and dear to my heart. As I mentioned, your supervisors are very good at getting money. We're very good at turning that money into hardware and getting it running. There are thousands of CPU cores and many, probably almost 100 high performance GPUs in the school. Ampere, NVIDIA, Voltas, lots of late model, high performance GPUs, up to 80 gigabytes of RAM in some of them. Lots of cores, 100 gigabit networking and clusters. We are happy to, your supervisors probably on this page somewhere. If not, I mean, there are plenty of more generically available systems. Chippy is a good one. We've got 16 Ampere class GPUs there. Facilities for deep learning and kind of the machine learning business. DataSci is more generally available, a Hadoop cluster, but also with GPUs, lots of other servers. Again, talk to your point of contact if you have a need for hardware, resources, we can help. Of course, there's Compute Canada, the Alliance these days. Your supervisor should have an account. And if they don't, you can tell them and we will get them an account and then they can sponsor your account. So these are free to use, a little more contention than a lot of the resources in the school. But I mean, if you need to run a job that spans hundreds of machines, this is where you need to go. So links there, always useful. keep that in mind. They have GPUs, virtual machine systems, kind of cloud container type setups. These are very useful resources. All kinds of software around, all kinds of free software around, MATLAB, Maple, VMware. We have site licenses, talk to your point of contact. And finally, it's all about talking to your point of contact. I mean, that's really what I want to get out here. Don't be afraid to send us a note, send us an email, stop by the office. We're always happy to have door frame meetings and talk tech. It's a great place to do IT. I claim the best in the world. We have lots of great problems. You students always bring new and interesting problems. Your supervisors do, and we're always happy to be involved with that and help out. So thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Before you go, does anyone have any questions they would like to bring forward for Lori at this point? Feel free to unmute yourself, put your video on, whatever you may need to do. Drop a question in the chat, and we can ask those right now.
May I ask something?
Of course.
Is there a shared GitLab instance that is open for the students as well?
Yeah, you should have access to git.uwaterloo.ca. That is a
cool. Thank you.
Site.
Okay, thank you.
It's in the chat. Thank you, Lori. Anyone else have questions for Lori at this time? I definitely cannot answer any of those questions. What laptop do we get again? Are these new? Is a question that just came in through the chat, Lori.
Yeah, I'll answer that in the chat. I think I'll add links and we can talk about it there. I think awesome. That's the best way to do it. Perfect. I'll work on that. You can continue.
Any other questions? If not, feel free to drop them in the chat. And oh, we've got a hand up somewhere. You can unmute yourself.
Hi. So I was wondering what kind of rights do we have on the laptops we get? For instance, I like to use Windows for flexibility, but I do my development on Linux through WSL. So if I don't have admin rights on the laptop, I probably won't be able to do that effectively. I was wondering what kind of rights we get on those laptops. Thank you.
So the short version is all of you are CS grad students. You have a physical device in your hands. I am not going to pretend that we can keep you from doing anything you want to that machine. And it's yours to use, and I'm not going to stand in the way of you reinstalling things on it or putting Slackware on it. So that's up to you. I mean, that will affect our ability to support you in some minor sense. I can spin you a laptop that is dual boot if that's what you want, if that's what you need. You can run a Windows system and have WSL, Windows subsystem for Linux running on it. We can set up a Linux system with a virtual machine for Windows. I mean, all these things are on the table. You can spin your own. You could reinstall Windows and Ubuntu back and forth every second day if you like. So you have a lot of freedom with the hardware. It's in your hands. We trust you with it. At the end of the day, you will return it. We expect you to do your best to take care of it. And, there's normal wear and tear, but, you're all capable. And I look forward to you making best use of the hardware for your program.
We have one more question in the chat. Should we discuss with our supervisor about the type of machine our research would need?
Yeah, actually, that's something I like to make clear. I mean, your supervisor in an extended sense is providing this hardware, and this is for your research. So I would like you and your supervisor to come to an agreement on what you should get. I don't know if I've ever heard of a situation where there was a disagreement that could not be resolved between the grad student and the supervisor on this point. So you will get an email, you'll both get an email from our RT ticketing system, saying you're eligible for a new laptop. Pick from this nice list, which I've included in the chat here. It's graduate student workstation options. When you and your supervisor come to a consensus, a decision, we'll be happy to spin you whatever the royal you have chosen.
Perfect. We're going to leave the questions at that. If you have any other questions, Lori did drop a lot into the chat where you can access him and CSCF further. Thank you. So our next presenter is Rebecca Hutchison. Rebecca's in our DC library and is going to provide you some information on that. Thank you, Rebecca.
That's great. Thanks, Joanne. I'm just going to share my slides. So hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be able to join you today and help welcome you virtually to Waterloo. I am Rebecca. I'm the computer science librarian. And as your librarian, it is my job to connect you with the information and literature resources you need to be successful with your coursework and your research. So this is just a quick introduction to how the library and how I can help you. I'm going to start with our physical space. This is the Davis Center Library. It is our math, science, and engineering library. So this is your library. It has printers, computers, study space, bookable study rooms, meeting rooms. It also has the computer science book and proceeding and journal collections here in print. And this is where you can find me. And I am here to provide you with personalized research support. And I will highlight my contact information for you on a later slide. But, and the DC library is in the DC building. But most of your research literature needs are going to be met online through our library website. So you can Google us or go to lib.uwaterloo.ca. I know you don't need this quite yet, so maybe bookmark it to remind yourself later. It will be helpful, and that is because if you don't want to pay for papers and access to databases, you'll want to start at the library's website. Here, you'll be prompted to log in with your WADA-AM so that the resources recognize you as a Waterloo person wherever you are, and grant you access to the content that we pay for, like subscriptions to conference proceedings, journals, publisher packages, and so much more. So I'm going to highlight a few things on our library website. The main search box on the homepage is for our catalog, and our catalog includes our entire print collection, so the items in every Waterloo library on campus. And you can set the search a bit more broadly to include the print collections of more than a dozen other university libraries in Ontario. It also includes most, but not all, of our ebooks and our online papers that we have access to. So there is a lot of stuff you can find just through this one little search. When you're in the catalog, if you find something that you want, the record is either going to, give you a link to the full text, or it will tell you the location if it's a print item, and then you can come over and pick it up. If the item is at a different library, you can request that they send it here for you to pick up, or you can also request that it gets mailed to you if you're off campus, as long as you're in Canada. We can mail books within Canada. Now, if you have questions about the catalog or searching or requesting or really anything that I'm going to talk about here today, or if something's just not working properly, I do suggest using the chat function on the library's website. You'll get immediate help, and usually we can help you just in that instance, make it work for you. If it's a more complex question, the person on the other end can't help in that moment, they will connect you with whoever you need to be connected with to make sure that you get your question answered, that you're able to find and access what you need. So don't forget about that chat button. That can be really, really helpful. The last thing on the website that I want to make sure you know about are the research guides. So we have guides for pretty much every department, school on campus, and you're welcome to use any one you want, depending on the literature that you need. This is the Computer Science Research Guide, and it's a really easy way to get started if you're not sure where to search. I did mention that not all of our ebooks and online papers are in the catalog. Sometimes we get access to them through different publisher packages, and those resources, those are here on this guide. So the things that I think are going to be most useful for research in computer science, we have links to those resources here that you can go in and you can search. So as an example, we have ACM Digital Library. We have a couple of other generic databases or general databases. There is also a link to Google Scholar on this page, and you might be asking, why on earth would I go to the library's website to get to Google Scholar? And the reason for that is because you can link Google Scholar to the library's collection, so that if you're doing your search in Google Scholar, it's a really easy database to use. Lots of people love it. I use it. It's great. If you're doing your search there and maybe it's just bringing something up that doesn't have the PDF that's readily available, that does happen sometimes. If you connect your Google Scholar to the library's collection, then it will have a little Get It at Waterloo button, and it will link you to that item if we have it in our collection. So again, you can get that immediate access. If we don't have it in our collection, it'll link you to a request form, so we can get it for you. And so the instructions on how to do that, if you haven't done that before, they are on this guide here. So there's instructions for that. There's instructions on how to access papers, again, requesting items that we don't have. That's all here. Usually, like if we don't have it, we can go to another library that does and get them to email it to you. So you really should never have to pay for access. Also on this guide is my contact information. So if you can't access something, you can't find what you want, just let me know. I'm usually on Teams. I try to respond to emails within the day. You can also just go ahead and book a meeting with me. And there's options to book for an in-person meeting or an online meeting if you have a more in-depth question that you want to talk about. So if you're wondering what would a more in-depth question be for your librarian, there's a few things here. I've listed a few topics that I can help you with through, again, that personalized research consultation. But there is one that I'm just going to highlight for you right now, and that is your literature survey. I know it's not the fun, it's not the exciting part of your thesis or, any research paper you might be working on, but it is a necessity. It's basically how you show the world where your work fits into a larger conversation. Why is your work important? To review the literature, you have to find it first, and you don't want to miss anything significant. You really can't afford to skim, the surface of the literature with little puny Google searches. You can't get away with that like an undergrad can. So if you want help with that, we can have a conversation and help create an appropriate research strategy for you. So I feel like I just said a lot. What I really want you to take away from this is that the guide, the library's website, are your best options for getting started, for finding relevant research literature, and that I'm here to help. So I'm going to put the link to the guide in the chat so you have that. And just know that when you get to that stage, go to the website, use the guide, and reach out to me. I'm here to help. I meet with grad students all the time, and it's a very important and very enjoyable part of my job. So, I'm always excited to hear from you. So good luck, but I am, here happy to take questions if any come to mind.
Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate this. This was very helpful. And as Rebecca said, it might be great to grab that as a bookmark for later. Very helpful. Does anyone have questions for Rebecca at this time? And one thing Rebecca didn't mention is the library is on the opposite corner, or the opposite side of kind of where the CS main office is, and right beside the Tim Hortons, which is where you may need your coffee or tea. So it's right beside them. Any questions? Do we automatically have access to Google Scholar? Do we have to configure anything? Do you know,
So-
Rebecca?
Yeah, so you definitely have access to it. You can just go to Google and you Google Scholar, and Google Scholar is the first thing that comes up, and you can search that, no problem. You don't need to have access to anything. But when you're in Google Scholar in that search on that page, you can go to settings and you can go to library links and then choose, you could go in and you can search for the University of Waterloo Library, and you can sort of set that as your library. And all that means your search results are going to be exactly the same. You can search Google Scholar without doing this. But what that means is that when you get a result, if it's not coming from, you know, an open website, an open journal, a conference or something like that, where they've posted the PDF legally, hopefully, online, if that PDF isn't showing up, if you've linked your Google Scholar to Waterloo, then it'll give you a Get It at Waterloo option, and it'll either take you to the full text or allow you to request it. So you can search Google Scholar without configuring anything, but if you want to connect it to the library's collection, you just have to go into settings. And yeah, so when you do that, it should hold that information in your browser. So until you like clear your cache or something, you might have to reset it. When you're on campus, it kind of does it automatically. So you'll probably see the Get Out at Waterloo if you are on campus. But if you're on off campus, you're going to want to go into settings and do that. And if it disappears, it just means you know, the browser has cleared it out. You can go in and re-add it again. I hope that makes sense.
Perfect. Thank you, Rebecca. Any other questions? Okay. Don't think so. So again, thank you, Rebecca, for sharing your time with us and for sharing all of this wonderful information about our DC library.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Our next presenter may not have made it today, unfortunately. So what we're going to do from a CSGSA standpoint, I'm going to get some information, some slides, some details from her on that, and I will be sure to share it in a link with all of you along with the recordings. So that part will not be presented today. So we're going to move forward with Denise Shantz, who is the CS Grad Office Manager and is someone you will probably see a lot of. So I'm going to pass it over to Denise. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. Welcome, everyone. I'm sure this is overload of information for all of you. I'll try to make it short, but it's hard to do that. Okay, let me just share my screen and see if I can get this to work. How's that? That works? Perfect. Okay, so welcome, everyone. I'm Denise Shantz. I'm the supervisor of the CS Grad Office. And the number one thing I want to remind everyone of is, like Joanne mentioned, you will be receiving the link of this whole thing. So you will have access to all this information all in one place at one time. So just keep that in mind. So I want to welcome you on behalf of the CS Grad Office. And the people in our office that are there to help you at any point are, I'll just go through them here. For any funding questions, it's Paula Roser. And at this moment, all the master's program is Nadine Zinger. We are in the process of hiring a replacement coordinator. So in the interim, it's Nadine Zinger. Nadine Zinger is regularly and will continue to be the PhD program coordinator. And if there's forms or extensions or general questions or anything like that, you would email the CS Grad Office, and that's always filled by a co-op student. And in the fall, it will be Afia Basil. So she will be our co-op student helping you in that way. Again, as an interim until we get someone, we're short staffed, sorry. I'm the person to help with scheduling or course enrollment. If you're having conflicts or problems or have questions about that, you can come to me. And I also manage the scholarships. So if you have any scholarship questions, it would be me that you would contact. So please feel free to email any of us at any time, and we will book an MS Teams meeting. We can communicate by email, or we can book in person, whatever works for you. So just know that we're here. Okay, So we'll start with TA funding. The number one thing I want to say is it is really important, just like your academic career, to remember that you are responsible for your funding also, for the tracking of it, the managing of it, and understanding it. We do know it can be complicated. Believe me, we understand that. So just know you can come to us with questions about any of it so that you understand it better at any time. So we do ask everyone to be sure to go through that offer letter you received, see what it is you're supposed to get. If you were given scholarships, check the eligibility requirements, go to the link. We know the offer letter isn't whatever that word is, but you can't click from there, but go to the links provided, check eligibility, and check the length of time of the scholarship. Sometimes students are surprised. Some of those scholarships are only 1 year, and into their second year, they're kind of surprised. So be aware of all those things, and do reach out to either Paula or myself or your program coordinator if it's more specific. We are here to help. If you think something's missing or mistakes happen, sometimes you're given too much. Sometimes students change a program or something happens and 2 were given at once. It would get discovered a term later. It would need to be paid back due to the terms of reference of that scholarship. So always know what you're supposed to be getting. We try to do it so you get the same amount every month, like every term. Again, the link will be provided, but you can always refer to this link provided here for the basic funding that's provided within your program time limits. Remember, we are here to help. Direct your questions. So again, TA and GRS payments would go to Paula, scholarships, myself, and for the time being, PhD and masters can go to Nadine, okay? So as I mentioned, we do try to balance your pays over the term. That way, and over 3 full terms, it will show what it said in your offer letter for 1 year, okay? TA assigning, I don't even know if that's really applicable anymore. Through COVID, might vary, but our funding model is based on 4 TA units. So what that looks like for you as a student, as master program students in your first year, you will have 2 terms with 1 TA, and you will have 1 term with a double or 2 TAs. You only have 1 double TA in your program time limit. For PhD students, you have 2 terms with 1 TA and 1 term with 2 TAs, and that will happen every single year. The term you have 2 TAs, as noted above, you are not paid extra. We adjust the RA to balance it out because it's important to know how much you have rent to pay, food, groceries, everything. You need to know how much you're making every month and every term. So we adjust that so that we try to make it as balanced as possible. Quest uses your funding first to pay your tuition. If there is a refund after that, it would be deposited to your Canadian bank account. If RA funding does not cover the full balance on Quest, the remaining outstanding balance is divided by 4 and it's deducted from your monthly TA pay over those 4 months. And that you can see the deduction on your paycheck. You would see that payment. TA pay can only be viewed on Workday. You cannot view you cannot view TA information on Quest. So there's 2 systems you have to look at for your financing. Once your TA pay is submitted, you will receive an email to do your onboarding. Once you get paid is when you will have access to Workday and you can see your pay there. I know it's a lot to take in. And again, as you start experiencing these things, reach out if you have questions. TA paid is paid to students on the last Friday of each month, and it is taxed. You need a Canadian bank account in order to receive that direct deposit. So that here it is. So if you are assigned a TA, you will receive an email from Workday within the first month regarding the onboarding. that is your opportunity to provide your banking information so that you can then receive your pay. New TAs should have received, I think, an email regarding mandatory training. If you are not TAing this term, you will be offered the training in the term that you do your first TA. You can refer to the link below just for information on the graduate incidental fees that would occur in your start term. It's a good reference that you can always check on. Okay, course enrollment. So you use Quest to enroll in your courses, and you can do this until the class enrollment period ends. We've provided a link here. The graduate academic calendar has some great information and deadlines and that type of thing. So it's normally, that time is normally the third Sunday of the first month. So up until then, you enroll in courses and drop courses on Quest. After that date, you cannot add courses. You can only drop them. And if you drop them after that date, they will show as a withdrawal on your transcript. That first week of class, if you've been doing course enrollments, sometimes people move around a bit in that first week, and that's fine, but you don't want to do it. It's good to decide within that first week, really kind of settle into what courses it is you want. Again, after that third week, it will show as a withdrawal, and that is okay. You just don't want too many withdrawals on your transcript. Additional courses taken for credit, but that aren't counting towards your program requirements, they need to be assigned as an extra. And to do that, you need to submit, you need to submit a course drop add form as soon as possible. If you've enrolled in a course as credit, you cannot change it later to extra, like after the course. Remedial courses, audit courses, and reading courses all must be added with a drop add form. They cannot be added on Quest. Remedials must be completed within your first 2 terms. So when we say remedials, again, they would have been noted in your offer letter. Some students are required to do an extra course or 2. And we want those done in your first 2 terms because the idea is that it will help you with your program. It's felt that you just need that extra assistance so that you can be more successful in your program. You should receive an email from the undergrad office with a permission number for any remedial courses. The EMLS, which is also remedial courses, they do not count towards a student course count for the term. There's EMLS, these are the English language courses. There's 601R, which is for speaking, 602R, which is for writing. Those are the 2 that we would assign. They can be taken in the same term. So for example, a coursework student who, takes up to 3 courses in each of their first 2 terms can take those 2 EMLS courses in those terms also. Note, please, this is really important. Please only enroll in the number of courses you are allowed to take for that term. What happens is you could be tying up a course for someone who needs that course or was planning on that to complete their degree. So it is very important people register only for the number. You can sit in that first class and go, oh, this isn't what I want, and drop it, and then take another course, register for another one instead. But please do not over-enroll. We are starting to monitor that now. I was looking at some yesterday, and you will be getting an email from us if you are over-enrolled. So please keep an eye on that. Master's students interested in co-op. We offer co-op to our thesis, research, and coursework students. But to do that, you must first complete 3 mandatory information sessions prior to changing into that co-op program. If you are interested, please read the processes noted on our website. So on our website, it's under current grad, programs, master, and then there's a co-op option. In there, I think it's pretty clearly written, all the different steps and what you need to do. And if you have questions, do reach out to us, but do check that first. If you attend these sessions, it's not a commitment to the program. Some people have some questions and aren't sure and want to know about it. They'll take those courses or those information sessions, but not ever enroll in co-op, and that's okay. You might have questions you want to know specifically about it. Feel free to attend those sessions. Watch for emails coming up soon about instructions to enroll in those courses or those mandatory information sessions. And again, please refer to the website for more information after reviewing the website. So check out the website first. Feel free to contact our CS Grad office if you have questions, and they'll either be able to help or pass it on to the appropriate person who can assist you with your specific question. Training. There are 4 mandatory trainings that must be completed within your first 8 weeks. So the first one is called AIM, Academic Integrity Module. It's through Waterloo Learn. The next one is Workplace Violence Awareness. There's 2 components to this one, and many miss the harassment training. And it's done through the Conflict Management and Human Resource Office. We call it Camaro. Both of these should take a total of 45 to 60 minutes to complete. And you must get a minimum of 72% or 8 out of 11. You can redo the test until you get that mark, but that is required, and it is a requirement of the math faculty in order to TA. So make sure you look into doing those. Again, this link will be provided. Please see the Mathematics Graduate Teaching Assistant webpage, and the link is there that you can refer to. There's also an employee safety orientation that is required. It's about 60 minutes to complete. And there's WMIS 2015. It's a 45 to 60 minute to complete that one. So try to schedule some time in those first few weeks to get those things completed. A few administrative topics. So your email was set up automatically once you enrolled. Please check your UW email regularly. That is the email address we will be using. All communication will be done through that. If you're a UW undergrad, this might be old. I don't know if I can remove this or not, but you should be using the @Waterloo email and not that edu, not the @edu, Waterloo email. Please be sure Quest is always updated with your local mailing address as soon as possible, and keep it current if you move, please. The university uses that as your primary mailing address. You do have mailboxes, and they are located in DC 2583. Keys and fobs. If you haven't received keys and fobs yet, which many of you probably haven't, feel free to check in. Just send Greg an email, Greg McTavish, GMCG McTavish at UWaterloo, as it says there, or you can pop by his office. He's in DC 2321. He will assist you with the fobs and keys that are needed. You will get an email with a whole bunch of links and kind of updates and summaries from today and stuff. In there is a document. It's called Important Links for Graduate Students. I always really like this document, so make a point of looking at it. There's some really good resource points in there, so make sure you look at that one. What's next? Scholarships. There are external scholarships. Again, you can see those on the CS web page under current grad students, funding and awards, and then there's links to the details. So the generic dates for the upcoming external scholarships are OGS International applications are due in October. And again, check those links for the actual dates. NSERC doctoral transcript requests. So they have to request the transcript first. They're due in September. And then the applications are normally due in October. Tri-agency CGSM transcript requests are normally due in November, and the applications in December. And then OGS domestic applications are due in February next year. So flag any of those that are applicable to you. Those are things you'll want to be aware of and make sure you look into. Please be sure to complete the confidentiality agreement on Learn. There will be more information on this to come. If you are submitting any forms to our office, they must be submitted electronically. So complete them out electronically and then submit them to us. Your graduate program is your responsibility. Please stay informed on processes and requirements. Feel free to reach out to your supervisor or coordinator for clarification. And this is really important. And again, I know you have a lot of information. There's so much to remember. Honestly, there's no way to remember it all. But if you're looking something up and you can't find it written on the website or in the graduate academic calendar, message us. If you can't find it in writing, contact us, because we don't really know what you're not sure of or what you don't know. And if you ask us specifically, we can find the documentation to support it and get you an answer. But you want to make sure you can see it somewhere. So we are here to help, and do reach out to us anytime. Oops, wrong way. We did that one. International, I think this is the last slide. International students, you need a social insurance card, social insurance number card to work in Canada, and a specific condition on your study permit allowing you to work part-time while in your program. Co-op is a completely different permit that's required. For information on permits, please contact the Student Success Office. They are at South Campus Hall on the 2nd floor, or you can email them at success@uwaterloo.ca, and their website is here. We are not experts on this at all. If you ask us questions about this, we're honestly going to direct you to them, because they have that information and not us. Again, in order to get your TA paid, you need to provide your social insurance number to Human Resources. They're in EC1 on the 1st floor, building EC1. As soon as you get your card from Services Canada, you should do that. International graduate students, just so you know, you are charged UHIP fees during every term. This includes inactive terms. That's to ensure continuous coverage during the duration of your program. If you have a family member here, they must register for UHIP within 30 days. For any questions regarding any of this, please see International Advising in the Student Success Office. And I keep going the wrong way. In summary, if you have questions, do feel free to contact any of us. We're all here to help. If you get the wrong person, we'll point you over to the right person or help you find the answer. Any TA payroll or GRS funding, it's Paula Roser. Scholarships, and right now course enrollment, that type of thing, is myself. Any program related, PhD or master's, can be Nadine. And then just general questions or forms, you can email the CS Grad office. And that's it for me. I don't know if there's any questions then.
Thank you, Denise. Yes, the chat has been busy with questions, and Paula actually has been answering, I believe, all, if not most of them. So I'm just going to go through them quickly. How is the TA funding paid? Is that paid on a monthly or weekly basis?
So that's monthly.
That is monthly, yes.
Yeah.
But I believe, yeah. So I believe that's been addressed.
Right.
Last meeting, a website to see your TA information was mentioned. What is that website? And one of our students actually provided it, I believe. So, and Paula confirmed that that is the correct one. Can remedial courses be counted in the breadth requirement of PhD Comprehensive 1? I also believe Paula answered that. So that is also in the chat. The response for that one is in the chat. Is the important links for graduate students emailed yet? I don't seem to see this email at the moment.
So that has not been sent yet. We normally send a little summary you know what, we would normally have it out to you today, but again, we are short some staff. We'll get it out in the next couple of days to you. And that important links is in there also. On the website though, under, I think it's under student, or I don't know if it's under orientation, there are some good resources in there also on the, and I know I always feel bad for you guys because it's a lot to take in all at once, but we are here to help. If you have questions, do ask. There's a student resources on our website under current graduate students. And there's a life in computer science. So there's some good resources also on the website.
Thank you, Denise. And
Okay.
where can we find these slides? I am going to be sharing them with everyone. Once I'm going to actually be putting it up on the website. I just need to get the proper access and links so that we can post everything for you guys so it's up to date and current. Stay tuned. That will be coming in the next couple of days. Bear with me. Along with Denise in the grad office. We are short-staffed, so we are doing our best, and we are here for you. But just give us a nudge every now and then, because sometimes it's just something missed on our behalf because we are so overwhelmed and short-staffed at the moment. But we're working on that. I have been assigned a course for TA this term, but haven't yet received info like instructor, class, batch size. That is something that Paula can help you with, hopefully. Yes, she's already on it. I am going to just double check that Norin has not joined yet, because I did get an email from her. She's been having internet problems. It's okay. She sends her apologies. You will hopefully get to see her at some point, maybe in an event that we have. And I will get the information for you guys on the CSGSA aspect. On top of the slides, will this recording be released and shared too? Yes, 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 yes. The recording will be shared, slides will be shared. Everything that you need will be shared. So that, I know there's so much coming at you that, yes, it's hard to to take it all in and remember it all. So we will be sharing all of this information with you, recordings as well. I'm just trying to get the proper access and manage our website. So it's coming. Bear with us. Thank you for being here. I'm going to if there's no more questions, I'm going to give you a 15-minute break before you guys start your panel discussions with your program, advisors. So I want to clarify with you, because we had a little bit of a problem the last time where some people joined the wrong program panel discussion. So please be sure you click. There's two different ones. There's one for coursework and CSM, so master's thesis, coursework and master's thesis. Click on that link to join that one. And then there is a separate one with Paula Roser for the PhD new grad students. So I'm going to give you 15 minutes to take a quick break, join your program panel discussions. It's super helpful. They are so knowledgeable. They've been doing this for a very long time and will be able to answer any questions you have at that time. So once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for participating and being active in the chat and coming up with some questions for each of our presenters. It's great to see. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.